So, what are they thinking in Indianapolis? Could Micah Parsons sit out this entire season? And what fantasy lessons did we learn last year that we could cultivate into this year? We're going to find the answers to those questions and a lot more as we get you ready for another preseason edition of Fantasy Football Fever, which starts right about now. Hey, everybody. It is time for another edition of Fantasy Football Fever. It is Friday night, August 22nd, 2025. Wherever, whenever, and however you're watching, we thank you for making us part of your week. My name is Timothy McClelland, America's favorite armchair football fan. Joined as always by my two partners in crime. First, the host of the Hooked on Sports podcast, Mr. John Flynn. And we have our lead commissioner, Mr. John Natali, who is coming to us from actually outside his apartment. That's a very nice
Yeah,
view you got there,
yeah,
John.
slightly different setting. Yeah, just while the light is still here, I won't be out too long. Just until it gets like dark, and then I'll go back inside. Here's a little view for your viewers out there.
Pretty nice little neighborhood up there in Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of surprised it's not either raining or snowing.
Hmm.
Doesn't
It's,
seem like
I'm,
that's the only weather up there.
even though it's August, sometimes you can't rule it out for the Rocky Mountains.
Right. Well, actually, it's getting to be a pretty exciting time around here, as you can see by my little note here. We are
Mm-hmm.
only 13 days away from the start of the 2025 NFL season.
Yeah, 1 week till
And
draft
we're
night.
1 week,
Yeah.
but 1 week from now, go ahead and put up there. Yes, right. Our fantasy draft, which starts at 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central, with the draft actually starting 15 minutes afterwards.
Yeah,
So get all the drama and all the excitement.
yeah. All the adjustments have been made. I made the edit. I finished the editings and everything, so we're good to go.
Yeah,
All
and
good to
and
go.
that and it's when the tally will begin his title defense.
My what?
Right.
Oh, title. Oh, title defense. Gotcha.
Yep. You better bring it, Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
So,
yes.
yeah, we got some good bits of information to talk about on this preseason edition here. Meanwhile, my boys right now have a preseason game going on right now against the Falcons. 6:48 left in the fourth quarter, and the Cowboys are ahead 31-13. Joe Milton's had a pretty good day so far. So,
Yeah. It's absurd. Joe Milton went as late as he did in the NFL draft because his deep ball is chef's kiss.
yeah, he is a pretty good thrower. I mean, give him a little bit more time, and he is definitely going to be one of the best right there. So let's see here. So, well, anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started here with covering the big headlines in the NFL, what we call the hot topics. Um, right now, the Cleveland Browns earlier this week have already announced that they're going to have Joe Flacco as their starter for Week 1. Uh, that guy's like 40 years old, and in my opinion, I think this is probably going to be his final season. I think that boy's ready for a rocking chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
Should have
doesn't
been
really
Kenny
come.
Pickett.
I mean, it really doesn't come as a surprise, though. But to me, I mean, if you look at everything that transpired, but look, it's been a whirlwind season, off season for the Cleveland Browns, and hey, believe it or not, because I know they start the season against the Bengals week one, and the Bengals are currently 4.5 point favorites in that game, but right now it's not a guarantee though that the Bengals are going to win week one in my book because Bengals Browns might be the last game I circle when I look at the picks for week one of the NFL.
Yeah, I'm kind of swinging a slight way onto Cleveland because that Bengals defense has been kind of shaky, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So they got Flacco, and behind him we got Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shador Sanders. I believe both Sanders and Gabriel, if I'm not mistaken, they're both dealing with minor injuries.
They are a little banged up, so that's why the quarterback situation ended folded up the way it did. But I mean, I don't know if you heard some of the commentary with Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders because if you remember about a couple of years ago, Dylan Gabriel and his Oregon Ducks with Dan Lanning which took on took on Colorado in a highly anticipated matchup against Shador Sanders, and Oregon was talking about all the noise about Colorado, and they used it as motivation as they wound up beating them. And Dylan Gabriel was comparing himself as a player, where Shador Sanders is there as an entertainer. So which is why another reason why the stuff the Browns did not make any sense whatsoever.
It seems like it doesn't make sense anywhere in Cleveland right there. Speaking of naming their starters, the Indianapolis Colts have named their starter, and it will be the former Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. They've decided to take Daniel Jones over over Anthony Richardson, which to me doesn't seem like much of a surprise,
Right.
actually,
Mm-hmm.
especially after the behavior that Richardson showed in that one game last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised. I figured it was going to be him all along.
But it seriously takes a comedy of errors in this day and age to lose a quarterback battle to Daniel Jones. But
Mm-hmm.
somehow Anthony Richardson pulled it off. And look, the thing with Daniel Jones coming out of college and like really before the neck injury really started to take its toll on him, that he was actually a pretty decent thrower of the deep ball, but before that the neck injury really limited him the rest of the way to not throwing the deep ball. But Jonathan Taylor was talking to folks in the press earlier in the week, and he praised the professionalism and the attitude of Daniel Jones through all this. I mean, he went through the ringer with the Giants, and he was never the answer. Dave Gettleman screwed up with that pick, as he reached for a quarterback that he felt that only him apparently fell in love with, and he took him at 6 without really understanding what the entire situation was. So that then you have that, then Brian Dable comes in to coach him up. They win a road playoff game against the dreadful Vikings defense in 2022, which prompted the hiring of Brian Flores to be their DC. in 2023, and then he stunk up the joint the next couple of years. He had a neck injury he suffered against Miami and he had to play behind historically bad offensive line. He had to um, I mean, the neck injury was bad. Then he tore his ACL. They tried to get him back from an ACL injury 10 months after the injury happened. That did not work out the way it did not work out, and they were who I thought they were when it came to that. So it was just a complete and utter disaster the whole way around. When you look at it from the Giants, then he goes to Minnesota, and then he signs a contract with the Colts to compete with Anthony Richardson. And the thing I said back in March was that the Indianapolis Colts had as bad a quarterback situation as there is in the NFL. So that the only ones that currently compare to what the Colts have are that of the Browns with Joe Flacco at 40 taking over as a starter, and the New Orleans Saints with having to deal with Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. However, that's going to transpire with the New Orleans Saints. I mean, the Saints should have drafted Jackson Dart when they did. I mean, that was an easy first guess at the time. I thought because with that. So Daniel Jones is the starter, but luckily for him, in week one they'll get the artists formerly known as the Miami Dolphins in week one. So it really didn't matter about week one, but it's about after that, and by the way, the week two matchup of the Indianapolis Colts, home against the Denver Broncos, the team that's projected by a lot of people as being the number one defense in fantasy this year.
Very interesting right there. So we'll just see what happens with the Colts going into the season. We did have a trade um, earlier this week. The Washington Commanders traded their running back Brian Robinson to the San Francisco 49ers in exchange for a 2026 sixth round draft pick.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
banged up 49ers team anyway, so that should be a little bit of a help for them.
I mean, this is all about insurance for Christian McCaffrey. I would say because right now we assume that McCaffrey is going to go into the going healthy, and that's been that's been the proposition over there. But I think the thing is though with this is that now you have to figure that Brian Robinson Jr.'s fantasy stock is kind of around the same, a little bit lower than what it was with Washington, but he wasn't happy with his contract situation. That Dan Quinn was asked by the press about trades and all that stuff, but that situation reared ahead, and they somehow resolved the Brian Robinson Jr. situation before they resolve the Terry McLaurin situation, which kind of says everything about how I feel about the Commanders this year as them being a prime candidate to take a step back this year after a remarkable season which saw them make it to the NFC Championship game last year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, the 49ers did get another player. The 49ers got Sky Moore, a wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, and a 2027 seventh round draft pick. And the 49ers will be getting a sixth round draft pick in 2027. Yeah, I remember, Sky Moore. I heard this guy was going to be like a big thing in Kansas City. He's going to be like one of the best 10 wide receivers in the league, and he just amounted to jack squat.
So I mean, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like there was such a remarkable fantasy discourse about how Sky Moore is going to be catching passes from Patrick Mahomes for the next decade in Kansas City. I mean, this all came on the heels of the Tyreek Hill divorce with the Chiefs. But if you could if one of you pull up his stats from the Chiefs, before I ask you,
Got, I'll get it.
I thought Sky Moore was going to be great, but then there was a combination of poor performance and injuries, but but then you have the other guys that the Chiefs have gotten with Hollywood Brown, and then this year Xavier Worthy, and then Rasheed Rice. That all of those guys took over, and there was like a debate about Rasheed Rice and Sky Moore as being the Chiefs' #1 receiver in 2023, I believe. And Rasheed Rice, after for the second half of 2023, was one of the 15 best receivers in the NFL, and he played a big role in helping getting the Chiefs to win the division and get that home playoff game, setting them up for another run to a championship.
Let's see here. I got Sky Moore stats here. Played 16 games. Started 3 in 2022, and started 8 out of 14 in 2023. And then last year, he appeared in 6 games, but did not start in any one of those. He basically, in his 3 years in Kansas City, he was targeted 74 times, caught 43 passes for a total of 494 yards, only one touchdown. So his success is 51.4 percentage and averaging about 13.7 yards per game. So those stats are really absolutely nothing to write home about.
I mean, it's kind of eye opening when you look at it.
Yeah, so and of course he's going to be a big help for the 49ers since their receiving core has been kind of banged up here and there, just like the
I
entire
mean,
team.
it's like everyone except Ricky Pearsall is healthy and practicing.
Yeah, they're all healthy and all that here. Let's see here. I wonder if he'll be playing in the next preseason game for the 49ers. They have a game.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's the last day of the preseason, I believe.
Yeah, tomorrow they have a game. Tomorrow night at Levi Stadium against the Los Angeles Chargers. So
Yeah, so Sky Moore's not going to play tomorrow. I mean, because they're just setting him up, and then with him onboarding and all that stuff, it's going to be it's going to be a hot minute.
it might be a hot minute before they start their season against Seattle up there in Seattle against the Seahawks on the 7th. So
And also, I'm telling you right now that is one of the tougher games. One of the tougher games to pick that week.
yeah, it's been one of the best rivalries in the last few years here. The Niners and the Seahawks going together. It's always high quality entertainment in my opinion right there.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the Browns and naming Joe Flacco week 1. Of course, week 1 the Browns will face off against the Bengals. Uh, there's a lot of defensive issues we got to talk about with the Bengals, Flynn.
I mean, Trey Hendrickson still doesn't have still doesn't have a contract, and so and some of the things that we've been seeing from from the Bengals, it hardly make any sense. So Trey Hendrick, so they said talk to teams that if they want to get Trey Hendrickson, that the team has to give up a young defensive player. They have to give up the first round pick, and they have to sign Trey Hendrickson to a $30 million+ a year contract. I mean, are you out of your minds? I mean, this some of the was I mean, it's in the line of buffoonery. Like what on earth is going on with the Bengals? And then on top of that, you have issues at safety. Jordan Battle is not a good fit for Al Golden's defensive scheme. And look, I like Al Golden. I like him a lot. I think he was tremendous as Notre Dame's defensive coordinator last year when Notre Dame went to the CFP championship game, and I thought he made a lot of sense as the Bengals DC. But if is he going to get 1 year as the head coach, as the DC of the Bengals before if they do wind up canning Zach Taylor and they let the new head coach bring in an entirely different staff, that's just the theater of the absurd. So with the Bengals delusions, I have this to say:
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Exactly.
Like, seriously.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think I may have already made one pick for week 1, but I'm gonna hold that until we cross that bridge.
And also not to mention the issues with the offensive line that they have as well. That's another question in and among itself. Although a couple of the young guys who actually played pretty well on Monday night in front of a national audience, but a lot of it's still like a wait. Still we need to see exactly what's going on with the Cincinnati Bengals. So.
We'll just have to see what happens there, but
Yeah.
I will not be surprised if the Bengals fall flat on their face defensively there.
Yeah, and then we also wanted to bring up like what the running back situations are for. Well, we talked a little bit about the 49ers, but could one of you bring up the running back depth chart for the Commanders? Because I think so because some of the discourse we're going to see about the Commanders running back situation. It is going to that everyone's going to seem sick and crazy and the captains of catastrophe among the fantasy pundits are going to scream for the next week about Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, the Commander's 7th-round pick this year, who is now all of a sudden a hot topic in fantasy football because he now goes in as the RB2 on the Commander's depth chart behind Austin Eckler, and Austin Eckler is not a 3-down back anymore. So and then if you look at Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, he does have he is fast. He does have an elusive quality in him. He can break tackles, and he shined in the Shrine Bowl, in the draft process, and now a 7th-round pick. So which is usually to make sure to try and get players who they think or who have undrafted free agent quality in them and get them before they become undrafted free agents.
And besides, I believe Eckler's I think he's kind of getting up there, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let me look up his stats here. Eckler's been in the league for quite some time.
Yeah.
He
But
was
but I'm more specifically look up the stats from last year because I think that's the bigger play here with this running back situation.
oh yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, let me look up. I'll look up his stats. Let me see here. One of the last year. Yeah, well, let's see. He started. What was it? 2017 when he started.
Yeah.
So he's
So,
not
um.
really getting up
So,
there, but he
yeah.
had
Let's go to 2024 and see what his stats were last year.
2024 7 attempts for 367 yards, 4 touchdowns.
And then what about from the backfield in terms of receptions?
Okay, receptions. He was targeted 41 times and caught 35 passes for 366 yards and no touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So like he's like he kind of so he had like he had like 60 total points, fantasy points in PPR from as a pass catcher, and then he had then he had like close to 50 he had close to 60 points fantasy points as a rusher.
Right. So
Yes. So I think it's kind of crazy, but Ja'Cory Crossky Merritt is going to go is going to be a guy that'll be drafted in most leagues by the time the week comes to an end.
yeah, that's right. That's true here. Also, speaking of trades, it looks like the Minnesota Vikings are kind of looking in on a trade to bring one of their former players back. Of course, this guy actually played his first 10 seasons with the Vikings before signing with the Panthers in 2023. Of course, with Jordan Addison with his 3 game suspension to start the season, and Jalen Naylor having a hand injury. So, possibilities of Thielen going back to Minnesota? What do you say?
I mean, what is he going to be the WR4 or the WR5 on the Vikings depth chart once Jordan Addison comes back from suspension? And by the way, Justin Jefferson did return to practice this week because he dealt with that hamstring issue, but he is back in practice and he's probably going to be full speed ahead ahead of week one for the Vikings with their Monday night matchup against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, so let's see. Got Jefferson, got Naylor. Then you had Ty Felton, who was a 3rd round pick in this year's draft. So maybe could be a cute, maybe wide receiver 4 or 3 possibility. I have no idea until
Yeah, but I do think Thielen should go undrafted in most league settings.
yeah, I'm not really holding my breath for that either. So just see how that works. Hey, I wanted to hear you made a comment earlier. I think it was earlier today about Jackson Dart and his preseason that he's had so far. I
Oh
was
yeah,
looking
they're
at this here,
fantastic.
I have to say I am deeply impressed.
Oh yeah,
I,
fantastic.
And it's actually absurd that he lasted all the way to pick 25. Pick 25 of the draft when both the Saints and Steelers kind of desperately needed to draft their franchise quarterbacks because because again Jackson Dart his pro day was attended by Kellen Moore, the quarterback whisperer for Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. So that's why the Saints hired him to be the head coach, and they didn't get they didn't draft who I thought was the perfect fit for the New Orleans Saints at pick 9. So that was problematic. So that's number one, and then number two, when you have him being coached by a brilliant offensive mind in Brian Dable. So and a system in place by coaches with proven track records. Mike Kafka was in Kansas City. He was the quarterbacks coach for Patrick Mahomes in his rookie season and developed him behind Alex Smith. And then Shea Tierney is an excellent quarterbacks coach himself, and he came over from Buffalo with Dave's to be the quarterbacks coach. You have the right people in the building to set him up to succeed. And boy, was he fantastic! And so adjusted completion percentage of 80% when you factor in the drops. 424 in total, 32 of 47, nearly 400 yards passing, three total touchdowns, a passer rating of 113. Yeah, he was absolutely sensational, and he has the moxie. The moxie's been thrown him out a lot with Dart, but yeah, with him like him making some high level throws, it is certainly such an inspiring sight, and it's been years since the Giants have been since the fan base has been galvanized like this, and now I think Jackson Dart making his first NFL start is going to come sooner than you think. Now, Russ is, I believe, going to be the Week 1 starter for the Giants, which that's set in stone. But boy, if you were a Giants fan, you got to look at that and say that's the reason why the Giants hired Joe Shane and Brian Dable in the first place.
Absolutely.
And after messing up with the Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley situation, and now they found a guy who fits a lot of what the Giants wanted, and they wound up taking him. I'm about to go inside and set up. So, you have any thoughts, Tally?
Oh yeah, I absolutely love the pickup. I could definitely see him getting the full-time starting role by potentially week somewhere in the 7, 8, 9 range. If Russell Wilson struggles early, it could even be earlier than expected. But right now, I'm targeting like week 8, week 9 for him to be named permanent starter.
So, seeing that Russell Wilson is a starter, and right now they have Jameis Winston as QB2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Dart at 3, and then Tommy DeVito number 4. But he's probably going to go back to the practice squad. I would say more than likely, unless they find a trade partner for him.
Right.
If he does get traded, it'll probably just be for a draft pick. Nothing flashy at all. But I anticipate him being on the practice squad.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep my eye on this Jackson Dart guy because he could be the future of the Giants. If he keeps playing the way he does, he could bring the Giants back to prominence within maybe 2-3 years.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm getting like the beginning of Eli Manning vibes again. Sort of.
Sort of kind of like when Eli first started with the Giants.
Yeah, like he struggled first, and then Eli just cooked basically.
Yeah, they won those 2 Super Bowls, both of them against Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah, the only quarterback to do it twice. against Brady.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Yeah, I'm going to be heading back inside in a second. It's getting a little dark now.
a little dark out there.
Yeah, you can see if you pivot, it's kind of dark now because it's now almost 8:30 over here.
Right.
I mean, it's obviously pitch black where both of you are.
Yeah, it's 10:26 now,
Yeah,
so it's 11:26 over where Flynn is.
yeah. There's maybe just a hint of light left over here, and then that's it.
Yeah. And it looks like let me see this. Let me click on this one little headline that I just hear. Eagles quarterback or Eagles wide receiver Johnny Wilson to have season-ending surgery.
Oh.
Here, let me see. Let me see where he lines up on the Eagles depth chart here. Because that sounds like a guy that they probably just recently drafted or signed as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, that name doesn't sound familiar, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so wide receiver. So they got AJ Brown's so I guess let's see here. Rolled up. It says it occurred during Tuesday's practice session. He appeared to get rolled up on during a Saquon Barkley run play and went awkwardly to the ground. He was a 2024 sixth-round pick out of Florida State. Seemed on track to make the 53-man roster. Unique size for his position, 6'6" and 228 pounds. So there's been some competition getting the positions behind, of course, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jahan Dotson. So hopefully he's going to be all right. But at least as they have their starters in there, I guess they'll be okay. So. And Flynn is back in the homestead with his familiar Giants banner behind him.
Yeah, I believe I am home, and I think I'll start putting stuff in. So for our next segment.
Yeah, let's go ahead. We were talking about the lessons we learned from the fantasy season last year and how we could actually apply them to this coming season since our draft is 1 week away.
Yeah, so let me let me start by so I wanted to start with my lessons first. So let me just pull those off for a second here. Yes. Now that we have now that we have everything under our control and it's yeah, now that we have everything under control here because we did our division previews, we did our what should I call it,
Our fantasy rankings.
Yep, our fantasy rankings, and now it is time for us to evaluate everything, but as a bit based off the lessons we learned from last year. So let me pull up the lessons I learned from let's see where they are. All right. Images.
So that's the lessons Natalia learned. Give me a second. Let me find
Mm-hmm.
mine.
I think
So this
that was
is Tim's,
mine.
and then that by the process of elimination, this leaves my lessons learned.
Right.
All right, so the lesson, so the first lesson that I learned from last year is that the above average players going to better teams typically do better, and I referenced Saquon going from the Giants to the Eagles, Derrick Henry going from the Titans to the Ravens, Josh Jacobs going to that, but honestly, there's not really that much you can look at for this year and say that a guy going from one team to another is instantly going to improve your stature. So it's I just don't see that this year. Or maybe perhaps Geno Smith maybe Jackson Smith and Sam Darnold maybe, but his might be more of an opposite then because he had I guess he had Kevin O'Connell as as his coach last year, and now he goes from that and the protection of the offensive line there to that of Seattle. So it just don't see much of that this year. Number two, running back depth matters, and it's going to help you in the playoffs because in the league I was in last year, I lost Chuba Hubbard and Ramondre Stevenson due to injuries, but then. But then I still had Tyrone Tracy and Aaron Jones to help me out in the end. And look, and I think there are some running backs. I think you look more specifically at Chevion Henderson as an example. Maybe you take a flyer around 4 with Alvin Kamara. You're thinking of Chase Brown. So you'll probably need to try to find some more of those guys to help you along the way, and I'll tell you some of the mocks, the 12-team mock drafts that I've done in terms of building getting running back depth, and I think which kind of matters here. So in one of the one of the more recent drafts that I had, I chose to pick third. I won't be drafting third in our league, but I had Bijan Robinson, James Cook, DeAndre Swift, Braylon Allen, Tyler Algier as my running backs. So you should be able to draft five to have like 4 of the top 40. Really, when it's all said and done, there was another one where I drafted Ashton Genty in round 2, pick 8, which is which was pick 20, and then I returned with Jonathan Taylor, and then I built it with DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson Jr., and Bashal Tutin as running backs as well. So you're probably going to have to find the right running backs in the second half of your draft, which that because you're going to need those in the end because it's more because the amount of impact running backs, the 3 down backs are much more are more significantly more sparse than you have with wide receivers. Running quarterbacks with good offensive lines do really well. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix, Lamar Jackson. Those are guys that I would draft as well. Or make sure you want to draft, but Allen, Lamar, and Hurts are all going to be gone by is in the third by the third or fourth round, and the thing is with these quarterbacks this year that that their average draft positions that for those four quarterbacks, the Hurts, Allen, Lamar, and then you throw in Jaden Daniels, so that their average draft positions have them going in rounds 3 and round 4, but then after that, there's a pretty sizable breakup of from Jaden Daniels to a guy like Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes, then the drop off becomes that much more sparse. So like in one of my leagues, and so one where Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, and Kyler Murray all went at round 7. Is I just decided to wait because I knew with the other teams all having their quarterbacks, I wound up drafting Justin Fields in round 11 of my mock, and that turned out to be the case. Now, I think in the real drafts, I think a commonality but with all these teams is that they're going to reach for quarterbacks if they feel desperate that they want to get their guy before the other team does, because you think that's going to be a source of a source of income, of fantasy points on a basis with that. So I think so. What I'm going to do this year is I'm gonna see if the value if it fits. So like if you want to draft a quarterback in round 3, you're probably going to want to probably have one running back and one wide receiver on your roster already. So if you're going to draft Nico Collins in the first round, then Ashton Jeanty in the second round, that'll set you up well to draft a quarterback in the middle of round 3 should that happen. But I would honestly just see if the average draft is if the ranking of the average draft position, if those numbers are lower than what your current draft position is. So let's say Lamar's draft ADP is like 30 and he's still there at the end of round 3. I mean, but by all means, take him because you have to start a quarterback, and you do that, and then you need to be willing to make a trade or a big gamble mid season, because so I think what you have to do with that is that after the draft, I would just highlight the players that you think are going to be on other teams that you're going to want later in the year. So then when the time comes, if the owner of, let's say, Alvin Kamara is out of it and like his team is not making the playoffs, you have to be willing to get some to have some valuable assets to trade to upgrade at those positions. So which is another reason why running back depth matters, because then I got to use some of my good running back depth and turn it into more discrete assets that would be needed at the end. And then of course the championship, and like and the last lesson, championships are won in the second half of the draft. That was the thing I learned last year, that the thing is, like, I really don't care the order of my pick, because ultimately, well, you have to let the draft come to you. You have to try and find the combination of value, and the combination of value and all of that to really hone in on what you think is on how to build a championship winning team.
Yep. Those are very, very good points right there for all of you getting ready to draft your teams.
Yes, so I think so. What I'm bringing in this year is that I really have no preference on where to draft. If it's assuming your league is a snake draft, which it usually is.
Yep. Yep. Gotta use that strategy when you're the last person to pick in one round and you're the first person to pick in the next round. So that will definitely come in handy for you.
It's yeah, and the thing about where you draft is that each position has its pros and cons. That if you're in the more extreme, if you're like picking first or last, you know what you have to do. Because then after you pick twice in a row, the rest of your league, they they select twice before you go again, and then it's the same thing. So it's so I really don't care. Though I will say, if you do if your position your draft position is towards the end, like at 10 or 11, 10, 11 or 12, you have to make sure you wind up with at least one running back, if not two. So because then when the draft comes back to you, you still have some tremendous receivers you can draft, and stack wide receiver depth as much as you can, because you're going to have a lot of guys. You're going to have a lot of guys available. To like that, because like in one of my mocks, you still had Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., who by the way, I believe is going to be outstanding. Terry McLaurin, but that's kind of a wonky situation right there. And then after that, Ted McMillan, Chris Olave, George Pickens, Xavier Worthy, all those guys are going to be available in rounds 4 and 5. So you really can't go wrong with drafting a running back, maybe two running backs. If you're pick 11 in a 12-team league, and then you go around and pick again at 14. So
All right.
yeah, and then if you pick in the middle, so you'll need to know what the teams that are drafting right behind you need, and then if you know a guy's going to be available by the next time you draft him, or if you believe it is, then you try and upgrade somewhere else before you make your next pick.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, so who's next?
Doesn't matter to me.
All right,
All right.
all right, Natalie, your turn. So like so you have your lessons, and like and how you gonna what are you gonna be looking for this year when it comes to these?
Yeah, the first one I wrote was Lamar Jackson should be the first quarterback drafted. Well, maybe not the first now, but at the time I wrote this, I felt that way. I mean, there's plenty of good value there. It's clear that Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and yeah, maybe Jalen Hurts there, and you're basically the top 3 choices there. So yeah, if you don't get Lamar Jackson right away, don't sweat it. There's still plenty of other guys there. I mean, I'm hopefully I could target him again. If I do, I think that would give me a huge advantage. But yeah, whoever gets Lamar Jackson, you can say is the early favorite to win the league based on our results. But yeah, even if I mean, most drafts he's probably going to fall to the 3rd round, like you said earlier. But if he's not there, then you could easily wait until round 5, because there's still plenty of fantastic value. Because yeah, I mean, I'd even be willing to wait until round 8 or even 9 even to get a decent quarterback. Because yeah, look at Bo Nix. I think he was average maybe round 8 or round 9 last season, picking wise. And look what he did.
So in one of my leagues, I got Jaden Daniels in round 10, and look how that turned out.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I might not necessarily be looking at Lamar, but almost essentially any quarterback will do. It's all about strategy. And then the next one I did here was tight ends have fantastic value in the late rounds. Look at who I ended up with. I had Brock Bowers, I want to say in round it was either round 12 or round 13. And look what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He was I think a rookie of the year candidate.
Yeah.
And I can't recall if he won or not though.
I thought Jaden Daniels won.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, and look at the potential candidates we have this year.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm definitely willing to wait on a tight end. I don't necessarily need to wait until round 5 or round 6. I'm not going to sweat it if the guys get picked right away, such as like Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, George Kittle, Evan Ingram, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, David Njoku. I'm not gonna sweat it if I don't end up with one of those first 7. I'm perfectly content with waiting for one of the rookies. Like I'll be perfectly cool with a Colson Loveland or Tyler Warren. I'm fine with them if I get them in round 10 or round 11 as my first tight end. Hey.
I really want to see what the people are going to think about Mason Taylor.
Him too. That's right. So yeah, I'm not going to sweat it if I don't get one of those like top 7, top 8 back tight ends there. I'm perfectly content with waiting it out. I'd rather build up on running back and wide receiver depth. I would rather do that. So yeah, I'm perfectly content with waiting it out. And then number 3, I put draft several rookies for your roster. Yeah, I mean when I first started playing fantasy football back in maybe 2015, 2016-ish, I wasn't a believer of rookies, but since then I've had a change of heart. Drafting rookies is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with stacking rookies because they could definitely be helpful if they're not named starter right away. If they get in due to an injury of a player or something, or if they're or if right away they're going to be running back 1, do it. Because look at who I had last season. I had Brock Bowers. Who else did I have? I had Romo Doomsday. Trying to remember who else I had that played phenomenal. I can't remember who it was. I had one more person. Oh, Marvin Harrison. I had him.
So, Marvin Harrison kind of underperformed his expectations. Like everyone thought he was going to be a consensus WR2 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that just did not turn out the way I fell for some of the hype because I could not wait to show him off. But last year in PPR he finished as WR34. So I mean, so not even a flex, and he only had 2 top 10 finishes last year, weekly finishes. Yeah, I mean he had the big game against the Rams week 2 where he caught four balls for $130 and 2 TDs, and then the Miami game where they came back and beat the Dolphins, 6 balls for 111 yards and a tutty. So, but those are the only top 10 finishes he had last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of these rookies, I got my eyes on Ashton Genty. Yeah, he looks like he's going to be a back end of the round 1 draft or the beginning of round 2. So it looks like I might have the advantage there with him, being that I'm in the back end of the draft. And I might be eyeing Omari and Hampton especially because of the Najee Harris situation. So I wouldn't mind taking him at all. Maybe McMillan or definitely even Travis Hunter. I would be willing to take a flyer on him with him being a 2-way player. And if you're in a league that has defensive points, both of those count. So if you put him in your flex position, boy, do you have a big advantage.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I would definitely target him in round 6 or round 7 if he's available. Or if you want to be super aggressive, you could take him in round 4 or 5, but that'd be a little bit of a risk.
Now that you mentioned that his defensive stats count as a cornerback, I mean I don't know how much he's going to play on defense. I think that's the thing that's holding me back. But but boy, if he plays a good amount of defense, that would be such a big advantage to have.
This reminds me of a couple years back. Because ESPN didn't catch the stat because I remember one time you had Taysom Hill, but ESPN never removed the QB graphic. You put him in your flex position and look what happened.
But also to be fair, that was the point where you kind of overinflated the quarterback stuff because you had a point for every 10 yards instead of a point for every 25 yards.
Mm-hmm. True, but then again, yeah, both they counted both of those. But then I think ESPN called on the next week and they removed the QB stat from him.
Yeah, which I mean, I had it. It wouldn't have mattered anyway because I blew out the opponent by a lot anyway. But
Right.
so, but that was a fun discourse that lasted a good 6 days.
Yeah. So yeah, hey, if you want to be aggressive and try to get Travis Hunter early, hey, I say go for it. But I think probably most leagues he's going to fall to maybe somewhere in the round 6 to round 8 range. But yeah, I'm a firm believer of the rookies again this season. And then number 4, this is kind of similar to what I said in number 1. Your starting quarterback can be picked up in the middle rounds. Yeah, like Flynn had Jaden Daniels in round 11. Look what he did. I don't really care too much about getting the big fish. If I don't get Lamar, if I don't get Josh Allen, if I don't get Mahomes, yeah, so be it. I mean, I'm content with waiting until if I don't get the guy I want in round 4, round 5, I'm content with waiting later on. I can get the guys towards the back end of the QB1 range, like Brock Purdy. I could wait on him. I could take Bo Nix. I have no issues with them at all.
I mean, Dak Prescott has a lot of upside this year because if you're thinking about the Micah Parsons situation, then you have that, and then if the Cowboys are chilling, that he's gonna have to throw the ball a lot. So it's like CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, but like those guys have serious upside this year, and they're going in round 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm. And then my final one, I put keep your running backs as handcuffs, as they have shown they're fully capable of being starters. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I lost Kenneth Walker for a period of time, I immediately went up and picked up Zach Charbonnet, and he did extremely well. So I could potentially target him in an emergency. I would consider Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah, I'm just. I mean, I hear what you're saying, Natalie, but I just right now he's the RB3 on the depth chart. Now could he rise up to RB1 by the end of the season? Sure, but I just don't know if he's right now draft worthy right now. I mean, the chances are that he's going to get drafted, because he's got some. Because his upside is remarkably high, with that, but you still you still have to wrestle opportunities away from Devin Singletary as well, because that's and the emergence of Dante Turbo Miller in the preseason, that's going to be something to monitor.
All right. And then I might be willing to take a flyer on Najee Harris, but I don't know about him really. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say draft them, but if your starters go on injured reserve, like say hypothetically, I lose Kenneth Walker again, I'm immediately going to Zach Charbonnet. Like immediately get your RB2 if somebody from that same team, if they get injured.
Yeah,
go for it.
I mean, how many IR spots do we have in our settings? Do we have 2 or?
If I remember correctly, I believe it's 2.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's like what running back handcuffs are you looking at? Because I mean, I could look at I would look at
Zach Charbonnet again. Let's see, maybe now whoever Austin Eckler's backup will be now. I forgot who we mentioned earlier.
It's I believe it's Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt.
Yeah.
It's like but now he's suddenly going and like pick around 11 or 12, which if you drafted if you had your draft and you drafted Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, congratulations, you won the lottery.
Yeah. Wait, I could have sworn though Chris Robinson was going to be the first backup though. I think that's his name, Chris Robinson.
Yeah, Chris Rodriguez. I believe he went to Oklahoma. No, he went to Kentucky a couple of years. He was in the same class as Will Levis out of Kentucky, but he's now the third string back.
Oh, he's third. Okay.
Here's an interesting handcuff. What about Gibbs and Montgomery in Detroit?
Oh, of course, Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Very interesting. Or maybe I'm thinking. I'm not sure this would be a good handcuff. Maybe Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders in Dallas. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't say I mean Miles Sanders according to our lads, and you'll appreciate this when I pull it up in just pull this up in just a second. Um, yeah, I'm on this I'm on this right now. And look at the Cowboys depth chart. First is Javonte Williams, then it's Jaden Blue, and then it's Phil Maffa, and Miles Sanders is
Oh.
fourth.
Well, Jaden Blue did have a pretty good showing this evening against the Falcons. I mean, I got the stats right here on my phone. He had 9 carries for 25 yards and a touchdown.
I mean, 25, but that's barely 2.5 yards a carry, though. I still think I feel like someone like Jaden Blue will make a lot of sense, and he could very well be the league back for Dallas at the end of the year. But about a few weeks ago when I was doing Moxie, I was drafting him a little bit. So, then you also want to wonder what the hell is happening in Jacksonville. How they're going
Jacksonville, yeah, of course. That's right, yeah.
to, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be there's like a lot. It feels like some low risk, high reward picks if you draft these guys later.
Personally, I would avoid any Jacksonville running backs until I see consistency, until we have a
Right.
normal rotation. That way we could see what's going on. Unless it's for the bench, like very, very deep bench, maybe.
So you're gonna have to draft one of these guys on your bench and hopefully turn out another handcuff. And this is a big one: Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren with the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So then you have that, and then you have and Robert Saleh talked to the press, and we missed this in our hot topics, but he talked about 3 running backs potentially being a part. So like Breece Hall, he's going to take a step back this year. Braylon Allen maybe taking a step up. Braylon Allen's had a good preseason, and then Isaiah Davis seeing what he can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right. So yeah, that's Tim's turn for his.
Yep. It is definitely my turn. Number 1, don't be afraid to draft top rookie prospects: Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Bo Nix, Brock Bowers. I haven't listed all here. I mean, Jaden Daniels, he finished the season number 5 quarterback in fantasy. He scored a total of 356 fantasy points in our league, which is like around a 21-point average per game, which is not too shabby here. Bo Nix, he scored 315 fantasy points, 18.5 per game. Not too bad there. Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving was one of my surprise picks right there. I don't think I had him on my team, but he ended up carrying the ball 270 times for 1,122 yards, 8 touchdowns, 47 receptions for 392 yards, for a total of 245 fantasy points, which comes out to about 14.4 per game. And then, of course, Brock Bowers, who of course was my number 2 pick for rookie of the year. 112 receptions for 1,194 yards and 5 touchdowns. Scored a total of 255 fantasy points, which about is 15 fantasy points per game. My number 2 point here was kind of like what Flynn had. If an above average player moves to a better system, you might want to take him because his production value could increase. Go back to Flynn's list. I think he had that number 1. When a good player goes to a better team. Number 3, stacking is an efficient strategy. of course, when you get the quarterback and a wide receiver for the same team. But one thing I need to pay attention more to is when you do some stacking, you got to pay attention to what bye weeks those teams have. Because there has been some instances in the last few years where I have one stack, I have another stack, but both of those teams have the same bye week, and you find yourself in a real big pickle. So you have to bend someone or just release them. So be careful. Pay attention to the bye weeks.
What examples do you think you're gonna try and go for? The obvious one, of course, is Burrow and Chase or Burrow and Higgins. It's like you're thinking Dak and CD or Dak and Pickens or even Hurts and Saquon for QB and RB because with the tush push they're gonna. So that's why Jalen Hurts is still a popular commodity because the tush push is still legal.
Yes, the tush push is still legal. So, sorry. I'm thinking maybe Dak and CD or Dak and George Pickens, as if George Pickens does very well in this new system that he'll be playing in. But I'm kind of leaning toward maybe, McCaffrey, no, McCarthy and Hawkinson maybe in Minnesota. Because, of course, the Jordan Addison situation, and of course, Justin Jefferson, he'll be still there. So I'm thinking of maybe Minnesota, and maybe Pittsburgh. I don't know. We'll just have to see about that. Dual threat quarterbacks are a must-have. Yes, the two best quarterbacks last year who finished 1 and 2 in the MVP race, they are prime examples. So if they can do it with their feet as well as their arms, gotta go for it. And there's really no such thing as a safe pick because an injury can happen at any time, anywhere. Just be careful that if you have someone as a good backup, if someone goes down, go ahead and draft them. Think about Nick Chubb. He is a great running back, but he has had some injury issues over the past couple of years. So that's my prime example right there. So yeah, I gotta watch out for those injury-prone players.
Yeah, so like a top bookie prospect. There aren't nearly as many of those this year as there are last year. But you still gotta think because there are a couple of running backs that went in the first round of the NFL draft, like Ashton Genty and Amari Hampton. So it feels like it looks like the talent we might have to see if Tim actually does draft Amari Hampton or Ashton Genty.
Mm.
Yeah. But and then of course you were also talking about Tyler Warren and Colston Dolphin. Both of them went in the first round. Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State went to the Bucs in the first round. And of course Travis Hunter and Ted McMillan were also receivers. So I would not be surprised if Tim wound up with at least a couple of those by the end of our draft next week.
Mm.
Yep. I'm getting kind of excited because we're only 7 days away.
And so far, you guys are still on board with that date, right? I mean, I'm all from work that day, so I'll be available. I'm definitely going to do it then.
Yeah.
Bearing any setbacks from you guys, but as long as you guys have no setbacks, then yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the Friday of Labor Day weekend. It's been a tradition now for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that part. I just want to make sure that nothing comes up for you guys or whatnot.
No.
Yeah, I'm all from work that day, so
yeah.
I'm already off.
Yeah, I took off that as well because I have a couple of other things.
Oh, okay, perfect. So you already
Early
requested off, so we're good there then.
yeah.
All right, sounds good. Let's just go over the draft order. I got it right here up on my screen here on my laptop. The draft order. It will start with Alex Putnam. So technically, right now, Putnam is not officially on the clock, but he technically is. So he's got him. Then we got Adam Oliver, my fellow Cowboy fan from San Antonio. Then we got David St. Dennis. Then we have
Hmm.
Andrew St. Clair. Then yours truly. Then we got Dino. Then we got Flynn.
Hmm.
Then we got Casey Lee. Then we got Lucas LC. And then our defending champion will pick last in the first round, and we'll pick first in the second round. So,
Got it.
so there's basically the draft order that we have for you when we go on the air next Friday night, 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central, for our big season premiere, our league draft. Now, before we go, should I or should I not? Oh, what the hell? We'll do a trivia question here. You guys might this might be an easy question for you guys. So I don't know if you guys have any questions, but I just came up
No,
with one.
I didn't come up with anything this week.
I just came up with this one maybe about a half hour before our pre-show meeting. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So this question has to do with our rivalry.
Giants Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So well, let's see if you guys remember. Two answers to this one.
Okay.
I need to know who the starting quarterbacks were the last time the Cowboys got beat by the Giants at MetLife Stadium.
Oh,
Like you said, the last time the Giants won at Life Stadium.
The last time that the Giants beat the Cowboys at MetLife Stadium, who were the two starting quarterbacks?
I know who the Cowboys quarterback was. I'm just trying to figure out who the Giants quarterback was.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was Eli Manning. That sounds a little too obvious.
So I can tell you the last time the Giants beat the Cowboys in at the Meadowlands was in 2020 season. It was that last week of the season.
Oh wait, who was that?
I
His name's on the tip of my tongue. He played for Dave.
I know
Dave something.
I know who the Cowboys quarterback was. I'm just trying to figure out who started for the Giants.
Yeah, it was that quarterback. What was that one game wonder? Like he played and then he retired or something. I know who I'm thinking of. I can't pull his name out. He retired and became like an assistant coach or something. He didn't play for very long.
It's not. I think you're talking about when they went to Seattle and beat Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. So no, I know what you're talking about, but it's not him.
No, not that guy. It had been one of the backups at the time. Wait, I know they had Geno Smith. Didn't they have Geno Smith around that time?
No, that was before.
Hmm. Damn it! Who was it? No, so it wasn't Drew. It wasn't Drew Lock because he was just last year.
I kind of thought this question would be easy for you guys.
I know I'm very confident on the Cowboys. I'm just trying to nail down the Giants. Okay, I think I got it now.
All right, yeah. Go ahead, Flynn.
Go ahead, Flynn.
All right, so the Cowboys quarterback was Andy Dalton because remember Dak tore his ACL and he was out for the year. So that's Andy Dalton. And then for this part two, I'm gonna say it was Daniel Jones.
So, what do you say, Natalie?
Yeah, that sounds right. But yeah, I think the other quarterback I was thinking of was Tim Boyle, but maybe that's not him. But that's not the guy who I'm thinking of, though.
Well, I kind of figured it would be kind of an easy question. And Flynn's got it.
Yeah.
It was Andy Dalton and Daniel Jones.
Hmm.
And I believe that was, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, it was 3 years in a row that the Cowboys had to win the final game of the season to go to the playoffs. And all 3 times they lost. And they lost to each of the other divisional teams.
It's,
They
it's,
lost to the Giants,
that,
they lost to the Eagles, and they lost to the Commanders.
that was before then, because this was a wacky situation where no. So going into that game, remember the Washington. That was one of the years it was called the Washington football team. So the Washington controlled its own destiny, and they played later that night against the Eagles on prime time. And so then the other game was Giants Cowboys. Is that the winner of that game would have won the division had Washington lose to the Eagles?
Right.
And the loser would have been eliminated anyway. But the Giants won. So this meant that if Washington won, Washington lost, the Giants would win the division with a 6-10 record.
Mhm.
So, but Washington did wind up beating Philly because the Eagles played their starters and then they chickened out at the end.
Right. Because I was figuring that you guys might have been tripped up for the starting quarterback for the Cowboys in that game, but of course Flynn wasn't. He wasn't.
I knew that, but it was just more about the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I felt Daniel Jones was too obvious. I thought it was going to be a backup quarterback. I was trying to think about the backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, I hear you. But of course, if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys and Giants will first meet in week 2 this
Yep.
year. If I'm not mistaken, week 2.
That-
Can't remember. Is it in Dallas or?
So it's a week 2. It's in Dallas, and I believe it's the first time that in years that the Giants play a 1 o'clock game in Dallas.
Yeah, because usually it's either a late game or a primetime game.
Yeah, I mean, or in the case in 2 of the last 3 years, Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So. Yep. So I guess with that, we are going to wrap up this edition of Fantasy Football Fever. A couple of notes for you. We have 2 shows next week. You see here August 26th, which will be next Tuesday. We'll be going on Tuesdays starting next week all the way through pretty much all the season.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have our fantasy predictions, have our NFL predictions of who's going to make the playoffs, who's going to go to the Super Bowl. Of course, we have that. Then on the very next night, the 27th, is the season premiere of the Pain and Game Pick'em show with Alex, myself, and LC. We're probably just do the same thing. We'll make our NFL predictions as to who will make the playoffs and who will go to the Super Bowl. And then, of course, 1 week from tonight is our official season premiere, Fantasy Draft Special. Draft starts at 9:30 Eastern. We will go on the air at 9:15 Eastern. So, oh my gosh, I am getting excited more and more with every
Oh, yeah.
passing day.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, Natalie, you got a target on your back now.
Yep. Oh,
So,
nine targets, really. So,
nine other targets.
So you're the champ, and we're gonna have to come harder at you this year.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I honestly hate being last, but it is what it is.
oh well, you're last in one round, first in the next round. So
The thing I said earlier is that each draft position has its advantages and disadvantages.
Mhm.
So it's like you have So you have the disadvantage of picking your what you should be your best fantasy player last. But then then your second best player in theory should be better than than the rest of ours.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the added advantage of knowing what you have to do with your team but before it comes back to you again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in the mock, usually what I do is I practice mocks in the position I'm in. That's what I've been doing lately. And majority of them, I think my first pick either ended up being Amon-Ra St. Brown or Malik Neighbors.
Yeah. Yes. Your draft, our draft comes second of the three, three or possibly four that I'm in. So, so like I've been practicing for like for the other leagues because they're money leagues and they're 12-team leagues. So I've been practicing from different positions because again I really don't care where I'm drafting from, but then the day of our draft, since I'm picking seventh and it's PPR, then I know what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I got my Yahoo League draft is on the 31st. So it's going to be a couple days after we have ours. So
Yeah. So I mean, how many teams is it? 12 or 10 or?
my league in my Yahoo League, I believe I think I've got 10 teams if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I got 10 teams in mine.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got Adam. I've got Adam in mine. I got two players from our league in my Yahoo league. I got Adam Oliver, and I got LC Lucas. I got him,
Yeah.
and I got a couple other people, a couple of guys I went to school with, and I have my brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've got my brother in this league. I think he was our league champion a couple of years ago, and I think I was league champion the year before he won. So, so there's a bit of sibling rivalry there. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
so that's. So I hope everybody. I think I'm going to participate in maybe a couple of mock drafts between now and next Friday. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could do some on ESPN. You could do. I mean, the site I've been using is fantasypros.com. I mean, because some of the screens that I've been sharing the last few weeks have been from Fantasy Pros. So that they do a really good job with presenting with presenting things.
Right. So, on that note, we will wrap up this edition of Fantasy Football Fever. Always be sure to listen to Hooked on Sports. In fact, Flynn just put out a episode, was it a couple of days ago?
Yeah, a couple days ago.
Yeah, a couple of days ago. He's got NFL news, he's got MLB news, and NBA news. So, wherever you look for your podcast, be it Apple iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, wherever you find podcasts, look up Hooked on Sports, and you'll get Mr. John Flynn right there.
Yeah.
And of course, all throughout the season, we want to try to answer your fantasy questions. So bring them on. And hey, comment section. What are your fantasy strategies out there? What about you guys out there? Put in your fantasy strategies and let's have an interesting conversation about that there. So with that, we will bring this session of Fantasy Football Fever to a close. It's going to be an awesome show. We'll be back. Like I said, we'll be back this coming Tuesday night, and then we'll be here Friday night. So, with that being said, on behalf of my buddies, John Natali and John Flynn, I am Tim McClellan. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great week. See you on here Tuesday night. God bless you all, and as always, be good sport. See ya.